In a world that feels like it's always pulling us to one extreme or another, what if there was a built-in guide for finding the middle path? Well, today we're going to dive into a concept in Islam that's all about that idea, moderateness.
But let's start with a question for you. When you hear the word moderate, what comes to mind? Like, when is a person actually acting moderately? What does it look like in real life?
Well, in Islam, this isn't just some vague idea. It's a really central concept, and it has a name, wasatiyah. It literally translates to the middle way. And believe me, it's not just a side note. It's woven right into the fabric of the faith.
And this isn't just about, good advice. It's seen as a call for balance, a path that's divinely guided.
Okay, so how you actually achieve this balance? Well, the whole idea of moderateness in Islam really stands on three big pillars. You've got tolerance, that's all about respecting differences. Then there's temperance, which is basically self-control, not going overboard. And finally, justice, being fair in everything you do. These three things together, that's the foundation.
All right, so with those foundations in mind, let's get a little more specific. What exactly is the middle way?
When you get right down to it, the definition is actually pretty simple. Moderateness just means living a balanced life. It's about intentionally steering clear of the extremes. Not too much, but also not too little. And the scales of justice are the perfect symbol for this idea, right? It's all about that constant effort to find the right balance, to be fair and just without letting things tip too far one way or the other.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Think about courage. We usually think of it as the opposite of being a coward, right? But in this way of thinking, courage is actually the virtuous middle ground. On one extreme, you have cowardice. On the other extreme, you have recklessness. Courage is that sweet spot right in the middle. And that balanced point is the goal.
So you might be wondering, where did this whole idea come from? Is it just a nice philosophy? Nope, it's actually spelled out very clearly in Islam's sacred text, the Quran. Take a look at this verse. It's a really important one. It identifies the community of believers as a moderate nation. See, it's not just saying, try to be moderate. It's describing this as a core part of the community's identity.
And then you have this, which is even more direct. It's a command. Do not exceed the bounds in your religion. It's a crystal clear warning against any kind of extremism, going too far in a way that could end up being harmful. Okay, so we've got the theory, we've got the scripture, but what does this look like in day-to-day life? How do you actually live a life without extremes?
Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, don't overburden yourself or anyone else. Keep expectations realistic. Second, know and respect the boundaries that God has set. And third, look to the example of the Prophet Muhammad, who lived this balanced path himself. So when you put it all together, this path is really a call for compassion, for fairness, for justice in everything we do. And it's not always easy. It takes constant self-awareness because there's an acknowledgement that a really fine line exists between being devout and accidentally slipping into extremism.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The goal of modernness is to blend your worship, your spirituality, right into your everyday life. They're not supposed to be two separate things. It's all about creating one single balanced reality.
And check out this final verse because it really explains the why behind all of this. It says, Allah wishes to lighten your burdens, for man is created weak. So this call for a middle way, it's an act of mercy. It's about making the path easier because it recognizes, that we're human. We're not perfect. It provides a path that you can actually stick with. So that leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? This whole idea of a middle way is a guide within a specific faith for sure, but the wisdom in it feels, universal. So here's the question for you. How can this principle, this idea of finding balance between the extremes, help us get through the biggest challenges we all face in our own lives?